35 million people. That's how many Amazon users' regulators believe were pushed into Prime subscriptions they never intended to keep. Not through hacking, not through scams, not even through lies in the way most people imagine. Instead, it happened through design, tiny interface decisions, button placement, color hierarchy, checkout momentum, confusing language, extra steps that appeared at exactly the right moment. And individually, none of these things looked dangerous. But together, they formed something much bigger, a system engineered to quietly steer human behavior at massive scale. Because Amazon understood something most companies eventually discovered too. People rarely make decisions carefully online. Most digital decisions happen while distracted, in a rush, half paying attention, trying to finish one task before moving to the next. And inside that mental state, even a single extra button can change millions of outcomes. According to the FTC, Amazon allegedly used that reality to turn Prime into one of the most effective subscription machines ever built, not by forcing people in, but by making the path into the system feel frictionless, while making the path out feel exhausting. And the strange part is, most people inside the system never fully noticed it happening, because the architecture was designed to disappear. When Amazon launched Prime in 2005, it sounded simple. Pay a yearly fee, get faster shipping. That was it. But over time, Prime stopped behaving like a subscription and started behaving like infrastructure. Because shipping was only the entry point. First came one-day delivery, then same-day delivery, then Prime Video, Prime Music, photo storage, exclusive discounts, free games, early access deals. Every year, more services were quietly folded into the membership until Prime stopped feeling optional. And that shift matters, because humans evaluate subscriptions differently when they become embedded into daily life. You question a streaming service. You rarely question infrastructure, electricity, Wi-Fi, Google Maps, Amazon Prime. The more often a system solves tiny problems for you, the more invisible it becomes. And invisible systems are incredibly powerful because people stop consciously evaluating them. Prime was designed to remove friction from shopping, but eventually it also removed friction from spending. Need toothpaste? Prime. Phone charger? Prime. Random household item at 1 a.m. Prime. The purchase decision collapsed into instinct, and once a system reaches that point, cancellation no longer feels like removing a subscription. It feels like losing access to modern convenience itself. That's what made Prime so effective. Amazon wasn't just selling faster shipping anymore. It was building behavioral dependency through convenience stacking, layer after layer of tiny advantages that slowly trained millions of people to stay inside the ecosystem. And once that dependence existed, the next step was making sure people didn't leave easily. Most people imagine manipulation online as something obvious: fake virus warnings, scam emails, pop-ups screaming for attention. But the systems that actually change behavior at scale are usually much quieter than that. According to the FTC, Amazon allegedly relied on what designers call dark patterns, interfaces specifically engineered to influence user decisions without users fully realizing it. And the most important part wasn't a single deceptive screen. It was the timing. Because Amazon understood when human attention is weakest, during checkout. That's the moment people stop analyzing. They just want to finish the purchase. And inside that mental state, Prime offers started appearing everywhere. buttons designed to look like the normal checkout path, free trial prompts placed directly inside purchase flows, language that blurred the difference between continuing a purchase and enrolling in a subscription. In some cases, users allegedly believed they were simply completing an order. Instead, they had also joined Prime. And technically, nothing looked illegal on the surface. The pages still contained information. The subscription terms still existed. The cancellation policy was still somewhere in the system. But modern behavioral design doesn't rely on hiding information completely. It relies on overwhelming attention, because when users move quickly, they stop reading carefully. And once enough micro-decisions stack together, behavior becomes predictable. That's what made the system so powerful. Not force, not deception in the traditional sense. Prediction. Amazon allegedly optimized the exact pathways where exhausted, distracted humans were most likely to click yes without fully processing the decision. And when this happens across hundreds of millions of users, even tiny increases in conversion rates become enormous. A 1% shift at Amazon scale isn't small. It's millions of people. Which explains why regulator eventually started paying attention, because the deeper investigators looked into Prime's design, the more the system stopped looking accidental. And the real controversy wasn't even how people entered Prime. It was what happened when they tried to leave. Joining Prime allegedly took only seconds. Leaving it was a different experience entirely. According to regulators, users trying to cancel their memberships were pushed through long sequences of pages designed to interrupt momentum and trigger hesitation. Not one confirmation screen, multiple. First came reminders about lost benefits, then warnings about shipping speeds, then prompts asking users if they were sure, then discounted offers to stay, then another confirmation page. And at every stage, the system created tiny opportunities for people to give up, because friction changes behavior. That idea exists everywhere in the physical world. Casinos are designed to make exits. Airports route passengers through shopping corridors before gates. Streaming platforms autoplay the next episode before you can reconsider leaving. The easier a system is to enter, the more valuable it becomes to make exiting slightly uncomfortable. And according to reports, Amazon internally referred to its cancellation process with a code name connected to the Iliad, the ancient Greek epic famous for being extremely long. Which tells you something important. The complexity may not have been accidental, because modern digital systems don't always trap people by locking doors. Sometimes they trap people by exhausting attention. A user reaches the cancellation page, then another page, then another decision, another warning, another button that isn't clearly labeled. Eventually, the brain starts calculating effort, and for many people, continuing the subscription becomes psychologically easier than escaping it. That's what makes these systems so difficult to notice. Each individual step feels small, reasonable even, but behavioral architecture isn't built from single moments, it's built from accumulation. One extra click, one interruption, one hesitation screen, repeated millions of times, and once companies discover that friction can increase retention, friction stops being a design flaw. It becomes strategy. The unsettling part about this story is that it was never only about Amazon. Prime is just one visible example of something much larger happening across the internet. Because modern digital businesses are no longer competing only for money. They're competing for continuity. Predictable behavior, automatic renewals, habit formation, user inertia. The ideal customer in today's economy isn't someone constantly making active decisions. It's someone who stops making decisions entirely. That's why so many digital systems are designed around reducing conscious thought. Autoplay, one-click ordering, infinite scroll, saved payment information, automatic renewals. Every layer removes a small moment where a user might pause and reconsider. And individually, these features feel helpful, convenient even. But when enough convenience accumulates, systems stop feeling like tools. They start feeling inevitable. That's the hidden architecture behind subscription economies. Not forcing people to stay, not physically trapping anyone, just gradually making leaving feel unnecessary. Then difficult. Then mentally exhausting. And once millions of people organize their routines around a system, the company no longer needs aggressive control. The behavior sustains itself, which may be the most powerful form of control modern technology ever created. A system people willingly participate in, without fully realizing how heavily the environment was shaping their decisions from the beginning. The FTC's case against Amazon is still part of a larger debate about how much influence digital platforms should have over human behavior. But regardless of what happens legally, one thing is already clear. The most powerful systems in the modern world rarely look oppressive. They look convenient. And that's what makes them hard to see. If you enjoyed this breakdown of hidden systems and invisible architecture, subscribe and like the video for more.